Summer will be upon us soon, and you may want to have some treatments in your first aid kit for bites and stings. Most of these injuries can be treated at home, and with our concern for overwhelming hospitals with unemergency concerns, we should all know what we can do to assist our body in healing. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people for better health. Natural remedies have been used by people for centuries, even thousands of years, and they have stayed with us because they work. Thank you for joining me today. The purpose of these particular videos in home health care, procedures and solutions are to help you understand that you can assist your body in its healing path and how it works. In the last two videos, we talked about bruises and burns and the importance of circulation in moving the injured tissue out of the injured site. In the bruises, we talked about fast light stroking. And in the burn class, I said we didn't even have to touch the skin. You could move energy simply above the tissue, and it still will create better circulation. So it's important to understand that supporting your body is really, really good. Now in this class, we're going to talk about bites and stings. Just a minute. And in bites and stings, you do not want to move this venom or poison throughout the system. You want to contain it. And so we're going to talk about some poultices and some things you can do, and even a very useful plant that you'll probably find later on in your yard. So if you see a stinger or a tick, the best thing to do is take a tweezers and pull it straight up out of the skin. There's actually a little scoop you can use for a tick, and you can see these online. And if you take your dog out in a wooded area, it's really best to have these. They have some that attach to keychains, and so you want to look into getting one of these things because you want to get that tick out of there just as soon as possible. You don't ever want to crush it. And so there's step-by-step videos that you can watch on YouTube. There's even one that shows you a site to send it to if you want to check to see if the tick carries Lyme disease. So ticks and stingers inject toxins. And I found the best solution for this is an ointment with charcoal in it. Now, charcoal is an adsorbent, so it's different than a sponge. A sponge absorbs. This is like a magnet where it pulls it. So charcoal is a really useful supplement or tool, if you will. So there are some salves that you can see recipes on the internet for that usually include the charcoal. And hi, Kathy. And then you can also see that they have a carrier. It's often melted coconut oil, and then they'll also often use infused calendula. But there's a really simple method, and I plan on making one this week, and so I will record it and post it for you. But it includes either coconut or olive or combination of both those oils as carriers. It includes your charcoal, and it includes lavender oil, because lavender oil is a tissue healer, and it's really very beneficial. Now, some of them will also include some kind of clay, but you can use white oak bark. White oak bark is very astringent, and it has that pulling action so it assists the adsorbency of charcoal. So I'm hoping that I can get my ingredients together. I just got my order of beeswax pellets, so I plan on making some more salves, and the black salve is one of them that I feel is particularly helpful. And if you don't have a salve and you don't want to mess with all that stuff, and you get a stinger in you, you can add a little bit of aloe vera gel to the charcoal, make a little poultice of that with a wooden popsicle stick, like 100 of them for a dollar store, and then just apply that to it. Now I want to warn you that charcoal is extremely black and staining, so you don't want to use a good shirt when you're mixing it with anything. So I love charcoal for a lot of different reasons. This is something you can get if you download from my website, bornforhealth.com, and look on the Herb Encyclopedia. It has these informations. You can download it, you can read it from the website, you can share it with others, you can purchase from it. It's, a variety of things, but the benefits are it adsorbs and helps remove toxins and other irritants. And it can do this both topically and in the body. So it's safe to swallow. And yes, it may make your stool black, but you'll know why. It reduces systemic toxicity, inhibiting the absorbance of toxins, chemicals, and microbial contaminants in the stomach and the intestines. And so if you swallow something that is poison and you take the charcoal, then it can be there and adsorb it and send it through the intestinal system. And of course, you would want to do this as you call 911 or as you're on your way to the hospital. And be sure to tell your caregiver that you have taken charcoal, because one of the first things they're going to do is give you charcoal. And so you need to let them know that you've already done that so that they can adjust their what they're going to do for you. And so it supports the body in cleansing and detoxifying. So it can be done as proactive. It can be done as a response. It's a wonderful thing to have in your emergency first aid kit. So two of the supplements I carry with me all the time is slippery elm and charcoal. And the reason I do is you never know. You never know if you're going to be eating something that is riddled with salmonella, and you want to make sure that you don't ruin your vacation. So you take some charcoal, and whenever I go to a foreign country, it's my routine to take 2 charcoal with every meal. And then I also do probiotics, so I can support my digestive and intestinal system. It's better to be prepared than to try and, close the barn door after the horses have escaped. So those are 2 of the things that I carry with me whenever I go on vacation. And I carry a whole bunch of things, and I'll go over my emergency first aid travel kit in just a bit. So if you have diarrhea, the slippery elm helps calm the diarrhea and the response of the intestinal system. So the last thing you want to do is be sick on vacation. Oftentimes I can get over something in a matter of a few hours. And so if you are poisoned at home, obviously you want to know your poison control center, the number for that. You should have handy in your phone. You should be calling 911 and ask for information. Do not go to Alexa and ask for information. That's rather unproductive because she'll go through a plethora of things before she gets to the nitty-gritty. Hi, Kathy. One of my classmates has joined us. So most sites recommend cool or cold water for stings, and this is simply to calm the inflammation. So after you put your poultice on and have covered it with gauze, then by all means get an ice pack and put it on there to calm the inflammation. But your poultice can be pulling out the toxins. Ice and cold water do not do that. They simply control the inflammation. So one of the other things that I think is really, really beneficial is Distress Remedy. Everybody should have this in both their travel bag and their go bag, their medicine chest. It should be very prevalent, and I think used often during these times because we are in a state of survival. And when you're in a state of survival, coming out of it, it's very traumatic. And coming out of it, you need to know that you're okay, that this is temporary, and Distress Remedy really, really is so beneficial during this time. So I absolutely love it. I think, if you get a spider bite or something like that, you want to have something for trauma. In fact, some people even seeing a spider is traumatic. So you want to make sure you've got something on hand to help you calm down and get, okay, everything is okay. You can, you don't have to go into overdrive with your nervous system. So when I've employed these methods that I'm teaching you, they have worked for me. You need to choose what is right and what you feel is the right thing to do for you. You know your body. And the only thing I'm trying to talk with you about in this class is that we have within us an energy that assists us in healing. I prefer to call it God energy. You can call it whatever you want. Universal intelligence, I don't care. But it's there. And it is there for the purpose of healing. And that's why they do double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, is because the medical doctors know we have something in us that wants us to heal. And if we tell our bodies we can heal, we will heal. If we tell our bodies we will get sick, guess what? We'll get sick. So that's the placebo effect, and we need to employ it. So now here's another thing. Some experts talk about using Vaseline. You do not want to use Vaseline on your skin. It is a petroleum-based jelly that will be absorbed into the body, and it's hormone disrupting. And so it is not something that you want to put on. Vitamin E, yes. Petroleum jelly, absolutely not. So there are wonderful salves you can make, and then, what else you got time to do? Make some salve, get some healing stuff ready for when there are injuries. So you can find information about the products that I mentioned on my website, bornforhealth.com. It's under Herb Encyclopedia. And there's a lot of information under newsletters. There's wonderful classes under calendar. Please go to my website, look around. If you have some comments, please comment. I would love to hear from you. If you have a particular concern that is personal to you, you can email me, Dr. Mary at bornforhealth.com, and I will get back with you. But do yourself a favor and check out the website from First Aid for Babysitters. That was, it's a pamphlet by the Red Cross, and it's full of helpful information. And then get back to these videos on how you can enhance it with herbs. So share these videos of tips on how to handle minor injuries at home for you and others, so we don't bog down the emergency rooms of hospitals and line up. And while you're lining up waiting, your poison is in there taking effect. So please do these simple at-home things so that you can assist the body in healing much faster. So people should learn some basic home health care so that they can handle emergencies and then seek professional help. So let's go over some of what is in my basic first aid kit besides the usual gauze, tape, Band-Aids, that type of thing. I have, of course, my bottle of charcoal. I have slippery elm, and we've talked about those. I have ginger because, you know, sometimes you have an upset stomach, and that gives the stomach that warming feeling, and it really assists in digestion. I have tea tree because I like to add an antimicrobial, and this is very good. You can use it in sinks, you can use it in toilets. You know, it's really great. I have, of course, my distress remedy. That's with me all the time. I have my silver shield because I feel that the antimicrobial effects of these are so beneficial. You can make a wonderful poultice with the gel. I've used the silver whenever I suspect that, you know, I've been around somebody who is spreading something, and so I'll just take a few gulps. And I'll tell you, since I've learned these techniques, I really have enjoyed my vacations. I don't get sick, and if I do, I know some of the precautions, and I have some of the things with me that I can take care of them. I also have lavender oil. Lavender oil is essential. I keep it in my cosmetic bag. So back to bites and stings. If you get stung by a bee and you are very allergic, you might want to have an EpiPen on hand. And they do have an expiration date, so you got to be careful about that. And also, you might want to have an antihistamine on hand. So wasps and yellow jackets sting with the same venom and can cause some very severe body reactions. So the venom is what travels quickly through the body and can cause shock. So it requires immediate medical attention. Some of my clients take Histoblock. Now, I love this particular product. It is natural antihistamine. It has nettle leaves, quercetin, bitter orange fruit, and bromelain. Bromelain comes from pineapple, and it's a great enzyme that works to help reduce the swelling of mucous membranes and opens air passageways. So bitter orange is supportive. It's a synephrine, which works also with the air passages. Quercetin may impact the effects of seasonal irritants and pollutants. So this is a product that people are taking now when we're, pollen is flying through the air, where we have a lot of pine trees and everything is dusted with the green pollen right now, especially with the winds we've been having. So Histoblock may be something that you'd want to keep in your medicine chest and start using right now. Sometimes people do 2 Histoblock with a meal twice a day, and that just keeps the mast cell production down so that you're not dealing with all of the congestion that occurs during seasonal allergy time. So some of my clients take this on a regular basis when they know that seasonal allergies are upon them. And some of them have it in their medicine chest because they, if they get stung by a bee, they know they can take this and open the capsule, put it between the teeth and the your lips in that gum area, and the saliva will uptake it into the brain and let the brain know that it can stop the mast cell production of histamine, because that can close up the throat. And then take 2 capsules. So after you dump one of them, you take a couple more. And if you know you're allergic to bees and that, by all means, go to the emergency room. But a lot of my clients who have done this procedure have told me that halfway to the hospital, there's no more reaction. But that may not be the thing for you. Everybody's an individual, and you have to do what you feel is the right thing, and you want to make sure that you're assisting your body at the first opportunity. So I'd like to talk about my favorite weed right now. So the bugs aren't out yet, so neither is plantain. So I had to get a picture of it. So you probably recognize this. Some people call it broadleaf, but it's a weed. I think it's a god plant, okay? It is, maybe you will too, but it's a wonderful weed. It grows in almost every garden, or lawn rather, and it can be found most readily near poison ivy and poison oak. But here's the thing with bites and stings, mosquito bites, you want to clean off the leaf, make sure it's not sprayed, plant, and bite some of it, chew it up so that you break up the fiber and plop it on your mosquito bite. Immediately, I'm telling you, immediately the sting goes away. It's just a marvelous thing. So be sure you look for that plant and don't spray your garden or your lawn rather. And let me tell you a couple other things about plantain. It can be used as a poultice. You can mix it with some aloe vera. You can mix it with Silver Shield and just chew it up and then put a gauze bandage over it. However you want to use it. If you're walking through the woods, you can't be home looking for your aloe vera gel. So it's a really easy thing to grab and chew on and place it on the wound. There was a story that a friend of mine told me that he was walking through the woods. It was a Boy Scout activity, and this one kid got bitten on the back of his neck. There must have been 10 stings on the back of his neck. And so he did this with the plantain, and he put it back. And about 2 hours later, they were sitting around the campfire, and the boy came up to him and he says, "You missed one." So one was still visible, and so he did the same thing. And so he knew exactly where that one was because the others had worked so well with this. Now, broadleaf plantain is also a wild edible. It's not very tasty from chewing. I know that it's not that tasty, but it can be great if you're a juicer and you want to add some oomph to your green drink. It can be great for that because it's loaded with calcium, vitamins A, C, and K, and chlorophyll. So it's really, really beneficial. It can be taken internally, like a juice or cooked. And anytime that you find, or most often that you find poison ivy, you're going to find broadleaf, because this is a great thing to use on poison ivy or poison oak to stop the spread of this chemical. It's an oily chemical that creates the response. And then also, if you run into this a lot, this is something you can get from the internet or a local drugstore, and it's called Technu, and it's a great scrub. So you can scrub off that chemical. Stinging nettles does the same thing. When you pick a nettle plant, you always go from the top down because it's the underlayer that has that chemical, and it will cause blisters and disruptions. So you want to scrub that chemical off the skin. So I hope that this class has been beneficial, and thank you for those who have sent hearts and thumbs up, and I appreciate you. And I hope that you share this video with your friends. Do a watch party. Take some classes online, first aid, and keep watching these videos so that you can bump it up a notch with herbs. And if you want what to have in a first aid kit with herbs, and just plan your herbal first aid kit, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and I will put this in it, and you can start putting your first aid kits together. And the reason I say kits is I have a travel bag, I have a go bag, I have a cosmetic bag, a lot of different areas. I have things in my kitchen, an area in my kitchen, because you never know when accidents will happen, so you want to have them. I have distress remedy in my car. You need to have some things on hand, and I'll tell you, I have had many experiences where I was really glad I had something in the car to take care of emergencies. Emergencies are just that. They are not planned accidents. They're emergencies, and you need to act as quickly as you can. So share what you've learned and recommend these videos to your friends so that other people can find solutions that don't harm them or the environment. And the next time we'll discuss some more fun things, facts, and that. So keep focusing on gratitude. Be thankful for people and gifts in nature, the flowers, and all the joy around you. Thank you for viewing. Until next time, this is Dr. Mary for The Health of It.